the action relative to what's in the best interest of the city. They have their own personal agenda that they're marching to without regard to the cost to the city. And you can't legislate that behavior to stop.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're voted, they're an elected representative. They can do what they want.
And the other truth is you can't fire a councilman.
Can't unelect them.
Right? But you can take them off committees.
Can I add something too, is that when that HUD letter got out, we believe it was one of the, we don't know how it got out, but it was out. And it was sent to one of the press. And that letter that was posted on the World Wide Web had the city's bank account information on it. And it was out there for everyone to see. And clearly, if we could have had the, given the opportunity for the city manager and city attorney to craft a letter for the public to know what was going on here, that information would have been redacted. And instead, it went out on the World Wide Web. We caught it maybe about 8 hours, 12 hours after it had been posted. But we had to put a high alert with our banks about that because it was for everyone to see. And that clearly is, you sit there and say, so was that intentional? And was it really to really very much harm us? But those are the kinds of actions that we're having to deal with now.
But at least it was poor judgment. Mm-hmm. And again, following, as Mark was saying, following the trail and finding out who did it is kind of a fruitless. You could have somebody on somebody's trail all the time.
Can I go back to one of the issues about morale within the city?
Sure.
So back, I think it was a month ago, now that we're sitting in the end of October, about 6 weeks ago, there was a Jewish holiday that we had actually selected that day to do a State of the City address. And so Councilmember Fig had the inspiration that Monday at council meeting, and he apologized for the city, and he said that it was that we should have known that it was a Jewish holiday, and almost to the point of how dare we do that, and he threw us all under the bus, everybody, the staff and city council. And we find out then the next day that he clearly not only once but twice was sent an email. Like all of us, the rest of us were sent an email. We communicate a lot that way with our city clerk. And she was asking, does anybody have an issue with this date? And I think, Councilmember Sharkey said, well, it is a Jewish holiday. I'm not Jewish though, and so it is where I said, of all the weeks and days that work, that day works the best for me, and we can do a morning breakfast with the chamber, and then do something new and divide the community out to hear the state of the city, because if they don't attend the chamber meeting, maybe they're not getting some of the information. So clearly wanted to bookend kind of a meeting and take that approach. And not only once, but twice, Councilmember Fig received that email and never bothered to tell our city clerk that that was a Jewish holiday. And he gets up then that Monday and berates the city and our staff about how we missed it. And then we find out the next day that he had failed to make that comment or to even say that, hey, there's an issue with the state. And so there's all of that kind of, positioning in the public this, but instead, when you start peeling back the onion, you realize that there was a failure to communicate here.
It was
And
intentional.
And for that failure, then we all get thrown under the bus.
You know, and the clerk did a lot of work on this. We went through several days trying to find a date, and then to, you know, come out in public and basically complain about the job she'd done. It's not fair. It's not fair.
So we have a number of issues. First of all, it's the